Hello, I'm Asif Farouk of Finextra and we're here at Fixamir in London. Today I'm with Fiona Hamilton of Volante. So Fiona, thank you for joining me today. Let's talk about the impact the fixed messaging standard is having on the industry. What do you think?
I think Fix is a great example of an industry-led standards body that for more than a decade has actually been taking the buy side, the sell side, execution venues and actually supporting, unlike many standards bodies that can sometimes plod along because they're trying to get consensus from the world and everybody else. Fix recognises that because it is largely, trading and middle office driven, that it has to be very agile. So I think its success has been the fact that it recognises you need to have a standard, but it also recognises the fact that it needs to adopt very, very quickly and actually have the ability to extend itself as a standard for execution venues. A few years ago there was no such things as CEFs or dark pools of liquidity, etc. So the fact is that this is a standard where people get together in small groups, they create a standard, and that's the starting point. Then other people can actually register their own custom field tags, etc., in recognition of the fact that one size doesn't fit all. However, you have a common syntax, and I think certainly in North America and in Europe, it's been a phenomenal success in the last 10, 15 years, and is gaining a lot of traction in Africa, Asia, etc., and I'm sure South and Latin America as well.
So before this conversation we were talking about the different flavours of Fix. Now, what challenges do you think that presents in terms of implementation?
I think like many standards which are flexible, their strength becomes a challenge when it comes to implementation. Because, for example, if you're a buy-side institution and you're having many, many different conversations in Fix, it's not just the fact that you can be using different versions, so Fix 4.2, 4.4, 5.0, but each communication that you're having, each conversation, the sell side and the buy side are looking for a competitive edge, so therefore those services are allowed to define their own different fields. So Fix, another one of the strengths, is it recognises that for a particular subset of functionality, different asset class, you need an extension pack without changing the underlying standard. So the challenge for both the buy side and the sell side onboarding each other is to be able to manage that process of knowing when a piece of data needs to go out, which version, which extension pack, which custom field tags, what the content is, and also to be able to manage that in an agile way, that if they start getting the idea that they're going to get better prices, better fees from a different venue, that they don't have to re-engineer their back-end systems to accommodate that. So I think the challenges are all about the agility, putting an infrastructure in that enables you to acknowledge that inherent flexibility in the standard.
So lastly, Fiona, what are some of the challenges your customers are seeing in terms of regulation and compliance?
Well, I've been to many of these events over the last decade or so, and certainly since 2009-10, regulation has been a major theme. And actually, what that always ends up in is an increase in the amount of codification, the amount of information which needs to be transmitted. And I think a good example of that, and in the Fix world, is that it has largely been adopted in the CEF connectivity, and also the work that's been done very recently by the Fix community in the market model typography, which is about the codification of the information when you need to send it to a repository for regulatory reporting, which impacts a lot of the messages which are being used. And therefore, again, the challenge for all of our customers is how do you react to those things without having to panic and rip out and rewrite a lot of back-end code. It's as long as the information is there, translating it into